transport system. So too with the babies. If you take them at the reproductive rate, what they call selective reproduction rate, they frighten me, you know. When you take each age group, 15 to 19, then 20 to 25, and 25 to 30, at 1966 rates of production, the number of babies that would have been born last year would have been 78,000. Well, fortunately, the numbers born last year were only 43,000. But we are still very far from just reproducing ourselves. It's got to go down until we just reproduce ourselves. Or we are in for very big trouble, unsolvable problems. We read of coups, takeovers. You know, Nigeria is a wealthy country. But if you go to Lagos, oil notwithstanding, you know why you've got a coup. And I believe that the response of the Singaporeans to our problems of population control, car population, whether it's babies or cars, is an indication of our basically resilient and disciplined society. It can make it, but it's got to be told what the alternatives are. And the alternatives are truly unpleasant. If you read what's happening in Hong Kong, you also know. So, if you want to do good to your children, don't pamper them. Just because you had a hard life, you've got the discipline, you've got the thrift, you've got the industry, you shower on them what you didn't have. And now we produce colored pamphlets and we can't get drivers to start at $11.60 a day whilst they're training for a year, $12.80 after they've qualified. It's a different world. In many respects, it's a better world. I much prefer this than what we had in 65. I mean, that's the sufficient infrastructure. But to make that next qualitative jump means a real big effort. And one which you have to make yourself, because you cannot expect the schools with 43 pupils on average to one teacher to do for your children what you have to do yourselves. Nurture them, imbue them with the right attitudes to life, to work, and the necessary self-discipline. The last 10 years have been almost too fast in its speed of change. And in a way, I sometimes regret that we did not get a harder knock in 74. Just a sharp douche, a cold shower, instead of which Hong Kong had. 30% of its workforce, at least, unemployed. Most of it taking 30, 40% reduction in wages and real hardship. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying that is good for the soul. And employers, when they start looking for workers, they like to have workers who know what hardship means. And if you can't have real hardship, then you've got to inculcate the right attitudes and values. We'll do all we can as a government in the schools, getting the jobs, training them, but if you bring a child into this world and you don't bring it up right, then the ultimate responsibility must be yours. And I hope that we shall together make the next 5 years at least not less successfully than the last 1 3/4 years since we ran into the oil crisis. If it's no worse than what it's been and better than what is actually been up till now, at the end of another 5 years we'll be all right. But it requires that constant drive and that willingness to achieve, to learn, to achieve, and to be proud of what you are doing. Not just minimum of effort, maximum of monetary rewards. That attitude will never take us into the industrial society. My good wishes to all of you on this 10th anniversary. Thank you.